after the massive success of Godzilla vs. Kong, which surprisingly did not feature a mid-credits tease for a sequel. Legendary is reportedly in early talks with director Adam Wingard to return for at least one more MonsterVerse sequel. One title being discussed is Son of Kong, a sequel to the original 1933 King Kong. Let's take a closer look. Wingard is currently busy with other projects, including a reboot sequel to John Woo's Face Off and a live-action Thundercats film. If Wingard's deal closes, it would be for a sequel well down the road, potentially focusing on the monster-filled wonderland introduced in Godzilla vs. Kong, known as Hollow Earth. Godzilla vs. Kong was the culmination of the MonsterVerse story that began with 2014's Godzilla, followed by Kong, Skull Island, and Godzilla, King of the Monsters. While these films didn't set box office records, they garnered a dedicated fan base eager to see the iconic monsters clash. Wingard's film, which premiered on HBO Max and in theaters simultaneously, delivered on the promise of epic monster battles featuring a star-studded cast including Rebecca Hall, Alexander Skarsgård, Millie Bobby Brown, Brian Tyree Henry, and Julian Dennison. With talks underway for a potential sequel, fans of the MonsterVerse can look forward to more thrilling monster showdowns and adventures in the future. While specific plot details are being kept secret, the sequel's designation as a follow-up to Godzilla vs. Kong suggests that it could feature another clash between the two alpha monsters. Despite Godzilla emerging victorious in their previous battle, Kong's submission at the end of the movie doesn't necessarily make them allies. It's conceivable that the MonsterVerse could pit them against each other once more, with Kong challenging Godzilla for the title of King of the Monsters. However, rumors about director Adam Wingard's plans for the sequel hint at a different direction. Speculation suggests that the movie might actually focus on a Son of Kong storyline akin to the 1933 classic sequel. In Son of Kong, the spotlight shifted to Kong's 12-foot-tall offspring. If the MonsterVerse were to pursue this storyline, it would likely be more of a spin-off than a direct sequel, centering on Kong's son rather than the two Titan alphas. These two theories aren't necessarily contradictory and could coexist in Godzilla vs. Kong 2. The film could offer both a rematch between Godzilla and Kong and explore the legacy of Kong through his son, providing an intriguing dual narrative for fans of the MonsterVerse. Adapting Son of Kong in the MonsterVerse could significantly expand Kong's narrative and the future of the franchise. At the end of Godzilla vs. Kong, there was a sense of disappointment as Kong's hopes of finding more of his kind in the Hollow Earth were seemingly dashed when his call went unanswered. However, if the MonsterVerse pursues a Son of Kong storyline, it would imply that there are indeed more members of his species, despite Kong being portrayed as the last of his kind so far. This development would require a shift from the ending of Godzilla vs. Kong, where Kong was depicted as solitary, to one where he discovers he has a family. Introducing a Kong tribe would not only provide Kong with a sense of belonging, but also lay the groundwork for another confrontation with Godzilla. Their rivalry has deep roots, originating from battles between their species in the past. According to discussions of old Iowa myths in the Godzilla vs. Kong novelization, the Titan War began with multiple Kongs banding together against a single Godzilla, suggesting that Kong's defeat in the film could be a result of his fighting alone rather than with allies. If Kong were to discover new members of his species, he would have the support needed to challenge Godzilla once more, potentially leading to an epic showdown reminiscent of their ancestors' battles. While the concept of ancient Titan Wars has been hinted at in the MonsterVerse, it has yet to be fully realized on screen. Kong's defeat of Ghidorah in Godzilla, King of the Monsters, which led to him acquiring several Titan minions, sets the stage for a potential showdown between Godzilla and Kong with armies of their own. By introducing additional Titans and potentially including Toho Kaiju in Godzilla's ranks, the sequel could become a spectacle of monster fights, distinguishing itself from its predecessor. The role of Kong's son in this scenario raises interesting questions about his impact on the war. While he may not be old enough to actively participate in battle, he could serve as a symbol of innocence and empathy, contrasting the larger conflict between Godzilla and Kong as a character who doesn't understand the reasons for the war. Kong's son could add a humanizing element to the film, resonating with audiences in a different way than his father did in Godzilla vs. Kong. The idea of introducing Godzilla's son in the MonsterVerse is intriguing and aligns more seamlessly with the established lore of the franchise. Unlike Kong, whose species would require the introduction of a female for him to have offspring, Godzilla's asexual reproduction process allows for the possibility of him having a son without the need for a mate. This aspect of Godzilla's biology makes the introduction of his son a more straightforward narrative choice within the MonsterVerse. If the rumors about the next monster movie being titled Son of Kong are true, it would mark a significant departure from the expected continuation of Kong's solo adventures set up in Godzilla vs. Kong. Instead, the film would explore the story of Kong's offspring, much like the 1933 film Son of Kong, which focused on Kong's albino son and his adventures on Skull Island. In the MonsterVerse, this story could take place in Kong's home, the hidden Hollow Earth world, adding depth to the mythology of the franchise. Overall, the potential introduction of Godzilla's son in the MonsterVerse opens up new narrative possibilities and could lead to exciting developments for both Godzilla and Kong storylines. Drawing from the Showa series, where Minilla and later Baby Godzilla were introduced, Godzilla's asexual reproduction has a deep-rooted history in the franchise. This aspect of his biology offers a natural and compelling way to continue his legacy in the MonsterVerse. In contrast, a Son of Kong story would require complex narrative adjustments and potentially undo the established lore of Godzilla vs. Kong. By focusing on Godzilla's son, the MonsterVerse can go into uncharted territory while staying true to the character's rich history. In the original Son of Kong film, audiences were introduced to King Kong's albino offspring, a mere fraction of his father's size. Similarly, the MonsterVerse's Son of Kong would likely depict a much younger and inexperienced Kong, possibly centuries away from reaching his father's colossal stature. This narrative shift opens up a world of possibilities for the MonsterVerse, offering a fresh and unique adventure. However, the choice of villains for this pint-sized protagonist presents a challenge. Powerful foes like Destoria, Gigan, and Biollante, typically reserved for Godzilla or Kong, may be too formidable for the fledgling Kong to face. Nonetheless, there are several kaiju from the franchise's rich history that could be reimagined to suitably challenge Kong's son. These monsters, if properly adapted, could bring thrilling new encounters to the MonsterVerse and pave the way for an exciting new chapter in the epic saga of the Titans. Kumonga, the enormous spider kaiju from Toho's movies, could be a formidable adversary for Son of Kong in the MonsterVerse, known for his webbing abilities, monstrous fangs, and skill at ensnaring prey. Kumonga has the potential for a terrifying redesign that would make him a challenging foe for the young Kong. While Kumonga may not be the main villain of the film, he could play a significant role as one of the monsters that Son of Kong encounters in Hollow Earth. In Toho's Son of Godzilla movie, Kumonga posed a mortal threat to Godzilla's son, Minilla, requiring Godzilla's intervention to save him. However, in MonsterVerse, Kong's son may not have the luxury of such a rescue, setting the stage for a thrilling and dangerous encounter between the young ape and the giant spider. Godzilla's opponents in the MonsterVerse have certainly been formidable, but there's a growing sentiment among fans that his next adversary should break the trend and offer a fresh challenge. From the Mutos to Ghidorah Kong and Mechagodzilla, Godzilla has faced some of the toughest titans in the MonsterVerse, with Mechagodzilla coming the closest to defeating him. As the MonsterVerse continues to expand, there's speculation about what lies ahead for Godzilla. A new live-action series is in the works for Apple TV+, but it's unclear if Godzilla will feature in another Titan battle. Reports of Godzilla vs. Kong 2 being in development have surfaced, but no official confirmation has been made. If the rumors about the sequel, bidding a Son of Kong adaptation, are true, fans may have to wait a bit longer for Godzilla's return to the big screen. Regardless of the timing, Legendary has a wealth of Toho villains to choose from for Godzilla's next opponent. Gigan, Destoria, Biollante, Space Godzilla, and Hedorah are all viable options from the Toho universe. Additionally, the introduction of a new, original Titan could offer a fresh and exciting challenge for the king of the monsters in future MonsterVerse installments. What do you think about a Son of Kong movie? Let us know in the comments below. Subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.